You're listening to Backstage Leadership Conversations, brought to you by the Digital Tourism Think Tank in collaboration with Abu Dhabi's Department of Culture and Tourism. I'm Nick Hall and I'll be your host for the series. So join me as I take a global view on the exciting trends and developments happening in the MICE sector with a multitude of truly insightful leadership conversations from truly global perspectives, all recorded right here in Abu Dhabi. Throughout this series, we'll be discussing sustainability, events for impact, horizon technologies, and considering the implications for business events and the wider sector. So if you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, be sure to do so now, wherever you get your podcasts. In today's episode, we're excited to bring you an insightful conversation with Ashley Roberts, the Managing Director of Connect, which is a leading independent event organizer based in Oman. With over 2 decades of extensive experience in the global events industry, Ashley will be sharing his unique perspectives on the evolution of the events landscape. He'll be talking about the impact of COVID and how the sector is adapting to new challenges and opportunities today. So be sure to stay tuned to hear more about the importance of understanding customer needs, the role of digitalisation in the MICE sector, and learn more about some of the strategies needed to create year-round engagement in both physical and digital spaces. Whether you're an industry veteran or new to the field, Ashley's insights are sure to provide valuable takeaways for everyone. So with that, let's dive straight in.
I'm Ashley Roberts. I'm the Managing Director of Connect. Connect are an independent event organiser, predominantly exhibitions and conferences, based in the Sultanate of Oman. We're the leading and largest organiser there. I've been in the events industry my entire working career, so for the best part of 24 years, time in the UK, the United Arab Emirates, now in Oman, but in addition to that, also doing events US, Africa, Southeast Asia, so on a global scale.
So if you reflect on all of that, how would you say the events industry has changed to when we look at 2023 today?
In essence, on face value, it hasn't changed dramatically. I still work with a lot of the same people in the industry, or my industry peers are still the same in terms of how events have evolved. The fundamentals haven't changed, and I guess they shouldn't, because, it's about connecting people, bringing people together in that live environment. I think there is a higher importance, and rightly so, on understanding customer needs. Whether that's return on objective or return on investment, there is a greater understanding of that. COVID, I earlier spoke about, how we've been impacted by as an industry, and COVID was one of the things that I touched upon. COVID, I think, I say this now, but I didn't say that for the 2 years that we were impacted by it. Good's come from COVID because it's made us dig deeper and look at the industry. Our industry has been validated by everyone returning to events in droves. We're all seeing record numbers, revenues, net profits, visitor numbers. But it's making us realise we need to look deeper and we need to evolve the industry.
It's interesting. I think this has certainly been a consistent theme through everything we've heard today. Why do you think this is today so important? What do you think has changed that means that as a sector we need to think about purpose and the depth that we create in the events, but also what's changed from the customer? Why is today this suddenly so important?
So leading on from what we all experienced during COVID, as an industry we all came together. We were experiencing the same pain at the same time in the same way. So there are a lot more engagement with people. We are a truly global industry. So industry peers, we were coming together, connecting, whether it was on webinars or it was articles people were publishing on platforms such as LinkedIn. So we were all looking, for assurances that we weren't the only ones feeling the same problems. We were looking for a way out. But that's really when the developments started to happen. I think with the first event that the Department of Culture and Tourism Abu Dhabi did was as we were coming out of COVID. And I think that really served as an opportunity to bring the industry together. We're now in its third edition this year. And what's good to hear is how they've moved that industry dialogue along. There's been a lot of talk today about digitalisation, but not in the context of what we were talking COVID, virtual events. It's talking about things such as using AI as an enabler to strengthen our industry. In terms of specific to customers, customers expect a lot more from us nowadays. They're educated customers. We are also operating in exceptionally competitive economic landscapes. Our competitors aren't just exhibition organisers. We're competing with big media and tech giants. The digital space is a big, scary space. But that is our competition. We can't look at it just to the confines of what happens in the live environment anymore.
So it's really important to understand that we're no longer playing a kind of regional game. We're no longer just an events business or an events industry, but we're actually an online, a digital and an in-person media platform and community platform.
That ultimately, that's the ambition, and it should be the aspiration that we should all have. I mean, I referenced to this earlier in the panel session that event organisers have a tendency that when visitors attend an event, on their way out, they'll see it's got, come and, see you next year, thank you for visiting. And that's a very bad messaging to send out, because we're saying, thank you very much for visiting, come again next year, because that's the point we need you. The reality is, they've got a need, and that need does not go away when they leave the venue. We've got an opportunity to have our events as the anchor, but to wrap around other products around that. Now, that might be additional peripheral live events, so in-person events, but also creating that year-round engagement in the digital space as well. We're all organisers have websites, they have social media feeds, we send emails. We're doing all of this, but we need to package it in a more coherent, consistent and sustained manner. That actually we're gaining more market share. And what the advantage we've got, if I use Connect as an example, we operate in the energy sector or sustainability in a particular geographical sector. Online space can't compete against us because they are so vast. We are very defined, and we need to use that to our advantage, both in the in-person and also in the digital space as well.
So it's really interesting if we think about events as the anchors for something bigger, for a community that can share ideas, or research that can be presented and explored in that environment, or platforms to lead or drive change. Do we perhaps need to be able to extend as a sector the expertise that we have outside of simply being an events industry, and actually thinking about some of the topics that our clients and we see being tackled at these events can relate to and connect with at a deeper level, whether that's at a medical conference or whether that's thinking about ESG or sustainability practices?
100%. And, I think what's central to this is data, business intelligence and those insights that it provides us. Ultimately, events, especially in the case of exhibitions and conferences, any good event organizer in that capacity, the backbone of their business is good quality, strong data. But what do we do with that? How does it allow us to know more about our customers? And not just our customers in terms of sponsors, exhibitors, delegates, visitors that are coming to exhibitions and so forth, because all of them are ultimately our customer in one way or another, is we've got to better understand them. So, we have products in the sense of content, whether it's in the online or it's the physical event, is we can better position ourselves and reach them in a way that they want to be interacted with at a time they want to be interacted with. We have huge, hundreds of customers, exhibitors and sponsors that come to our event that are rich in content. What we need to do is we need to be able to facilitate the distribution of that content, not only through the form of an exhibition floor, or through a conference program. We need to be able to provide that throughout a year-round basis to the end user, the visitors, the delegates that are coming to our events.
So those strategic skills that underpin that process are becoming really important to broaden from being able to run a process to thinking creatively about how to build connections, how to bring partnerships on board, how to develop subject matter expertise. So we can also coordinate people who have that subject matter and that the ideas that are shared in those events, so they also leave the room. How do you think Abu Dhabi, with its unique offering, can invest in that and be really driven towards that kind of that shift that's happening across the global industry, and really lead the way as a front runner in that space?
Abu Dhabi is very well positioned, not uniquely, but they are very well aligned from a government perspective all the way through to the private sector as well. You've got key entities such as the Abu Dhabi Convention Bureau, Abu Dhabi Department of Culture and Tourism. You've got a world-class venue there. All of them work together, and what they also realise is that they can't do it individually. They have to do it as a collective. They have the operators, the framework to do it. What they need to do is they need to work with organisers, and I think today, you have many hundreds of event professionals out here right across the MICE industry. They realise that they can't do it themselves. But they are putting the framework there, and I say this with experience. We've done 2 events in Abu Dhabi through tremendous support of the Department of Culture and Tourism at Abu Dhabi and Abu Dhabi Convention Bureau that we probably would not have done other than if we'd had the support from them. So, I can speak from experience. What they're doing is working.
So leadership is really key here. Ashley, thank you very much for sharing your insights. It's been great having you with us.
Welcome, thank you.
In this episode, we delved deep into the evolving landscape of the events industry. Ashley Roberts shared invaluable insights from his extensive career, painting a vivid picture on how the sector has transformed over the years, particularly in response to the challenges presented by the global pandemic. Throughout the discussion, we explored the significant shift towards understanding customer needs more deeply and the growing importance of digitalisation. Ashley highlighted how the industry has validated itself with record-breaking attendance and revenues post-pandemic, emphasising that the return of live events has sparked a renewed focus on deeper industry evolution. We also discussed the increasing competition posed by media and tech giants and the need for the events industry to broaden its scope beyond in-person interactions to include digital and online communities. Ashley's take on leveraging data and business intelligence underscored the importance of year-on-year customer engagement across multiple platforms. The episode shed light on Abu Dhabi's unique positioning and strategic collaborations, showcasing how integral government and private sector partnerships are in driving forward that momentum. The support from entities like Abu Dhabi Convention Bureau have proven essential in elevating the region as a frontrunner in global events. Ultimately, the conversation painted a picture of the industry at a crossroads, navigating its way through transformation by harnessing technology, fostering deeper connections, and evolving the traditional frameworks to meet modern demands. You've been listening to Backstage Leadership Conversations. Be sure to hit subscribe to make sure you don't miss any future episodes. If you're enjoying the series, why not take a moment to leave a review or get in touch and let us know what you think. Discover more industry insights by heading over to our website, thinkdigital.travel, where you'll find lots more interviews, podcasts, case studies, and industry research, all at the click of a button. Thanks to the Abu Dhabi Department of Culture and Tourism for making this possible, and thank you for joining us today.